Hi, everybody. It's middle of May almost, and we've got another month of stats behind us to report in April 2022. And I'm joined once again by my friend and colleague and local superhero, Dan Desalet. How was your trip in Florida?
The trip was spectacular. It was very relaxing. It
Yeah,
was nice to get back here to the snow,
yeah.
which was happening earlier today. Uh, I know that you were doing a little bit of traveling around here too. We've both been globe trotting this month, so
Yes, I was in Las Vegas with my wife and poorer man because of it. So, but a good time was had by all. So, what's going on out there? We're seeing a lot of news, basically that things are shifting, and I think we need to talk about that, Dan. But first, why don't we dive into a few stats? Um, let's start with total sales. In 2022, there was 3,401 sales. 2022. Last month, there was 3,401 sales total in Calgary, all property types. You compare that to a year ago in April, and that was 3,204. So only around 200 different, right? But it's still up from last year. And last year, I remember that was a very busy month. New listings, very similar. So in 2022, this year, 4,577 new listings hit the market last month. And a year ago, it was 4,675. That brings our total inventory to 4,850 for April last month, and a year prior was 6,078. So there you go, Dan. Like, inventory is still down, and you made an observation. Do you want to talk a bit more about like apartments, because the detached market actually had less sales in April 22 than April 21, which is interesting. But
yes,
um,
it is.
yeah, but I thought the apartment stats was, more uplifting news for apartment owners, in my opinion.
That is uplifting. Now we know that we did the way that we saw things happen. We saw detached market was bonkers there for a while,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. That's a scientific term that we're using here.
I'll accept it.
Yes, thank you. And then it shifted into row and townhouses, and we're still seeing a lot of activity in those in specific areas of the city.
Yeah.
So looking in the southeast, especially, it's still a little bit wild out there in townhomes.
Hmm.
It's really specific to the community right now.
It is.
So there's no giant paintbrush that we can paint all Calgary with for the market. There's a lot of micro markets that are going on. Just to throw something out there, so Rowan Townhouse, last year we were sitting at 45 days of inventory. We're sitting at 20 right now. That's all the way across Calgary.
That's right.
But the really interesting one is apartments. So looking at last year, we were sitting at sales numbers in April of 440 apartment units all the way across Calgary. And this April, we finished off at 642. So quite a bit more sales. The new listings, it really didn't shift that much. So it went from 837 in April of last year to 892 of April this year.
Yeah.
Active listings obviously are down as a result of that.
The months of inventory is still low. Like, it's like 1.43 for all housing types, which is still very low because you're looking at 2.5 to 3 months of supply would be that balanced market. Huddle we did definitely peak. Yeah, we're still seeing a lot of homes selling for asking price or higher. Last month in April, it was 51.9% of homes, all homes sold for asking price or higher. So I think when you got more than half, like, it's still, I'd say, a heated market. And yes, it's down. It's down from 64.2%, which was in February. March was 59.6%. It's trending down, but I mean, you also have a lot of people overpricing their homes and then dropping them. There's a mixture of that, but I still think that, looking at this hotometer, it's still very indicative of what's going on. Sure, it's cooling down, but that's because we were off to a pretty busy start for the year.
Valid point. It's interesting as well when we look at the numbers that there is a lot that are selling at asking price.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's those ones that are a bit above, and then there's a few that are just the outliers that have completely blown up. And of course, there is, as you said, a bunch of different pricing strategies that are out there.
Yeah.
So of course, those are going to shift and skew the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. You tell me a reason why our market is cooling and why we can expect it cooler, and I'll give you a counter that it's still a hot market. How about that?
Ooh, okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Cool market.
Yeah.
Interest rates are rising. They're going to continue rising along with the rising bond market. Go.
Okay, touche, but there's still a lot of high price homes in Ontario and BC that's causing those people to look at Calgary as a viable place to live, and many of them are buying up properties and moving here.
Ooh, a lot of people, a lot of prices out there starting to go downwards in a downward trend. So I feel that a lot of people in Ontario are going to start holding off and waiting to see what the market does out there.
Yes, media and trends like that can cause some pressure for sure. But what I'm seeing is our inventory is not really increasing, and the demand is still there to keep those levels cool. I think supply and demand is always going to be a big reason why we're in the market that we're in.
This is an interesting debate that we could just keep doing for hours.
I know. Thanks for joining us once again here, everybody, and we'll continue to keep our eyes and ears on what's going on in this market, and we'll have another report for you in a month's time. Dan,
Awesome.
take care.
Thanks everyone out there for watching.
All right. Bye.
Bye.